How much should you pay for the domain name that you want for your company? This is a very interesting topic. When you're getting started, ideally, you don't want to pay a lot for the domain name. Definitely not in the thousands and tens of thousands because you don't have a lot of money, typically speaking. So you want to opt for as cheap a domain name as possible. You want to go find one of those that is available for like $20 for the entire year. Or if you're choosing a .ai, I think for some reason it's more expensive. It's like $60 to $80 a year, but that's still better than thousands of dollars. However, this process of finding a name that you think represents what you're building correctly, that you think has SEO potential, that you can get in .com, and you are happy with it. You feel like that's a name you can wake up to every day and be excited about, and you feel like your audience will relate to it and it'll be easy for them to pronounce and spell and all of these, and ensure that it's not that expensive, can be a ridiculously complex process and also be extremely frustrating. We were trying to settle down on a name for Final Layer. It was an extremely stressful 2 to 3 weeks when I would write down pages and pages of names and I would repeat them over and over again to see if I get tired of it or if it sets fatigue in my brain after a few times I read it. I would, cross things out. I would ask a bunch of people. I would ask my teenage kids. I would ask my co founder, my people in the team. We would run polls and we couldn't settle on something. Eventually, we'll find something that everybody's sort of okay with. And I would go to GoDaddy and find that it's ridiculously expensive. So it was a super painful process. At the time, we were also thinking about a video product. So one of the names we came pretty close to adopting was IRIX, IRIX. We were going to call the product IRIX Pro. Here are some of the things we did in the process of arriving at Final Layer. So number one, we bought a lot of domains along the way, things we would think of and we thought are really good candidates and are not that expensive. We would buy these domains and park them because otherwise we know that GoDaddy is going to increase the price on some of these if we snoozed for a while. I'm estimating that we went through about 1,000 or so names as candidates and we bought 20 or so domains. Eventually, we got some great advice, which suggested that we should be thinking about two-word names, and we're not trying hard in that area. We ended up buying the domain name finallayer.com from Brandbucket eventually. Brandbucket is a listing of already purchased domain names, people who have previously parked domains, or Brandbucket themselves sometimes own some domains, and they would put them up for an auction. And depending on how much they're asking and how much you're offering, you can actually buy names from there. This is going to need a part two to talk about what are all the domain extensions you should think about owning.